But when you have your own time, like when I'm on my downtime, when I have like maybe 3 months off and I'm not sure if I'm going to be working in there, or you know, if I should be looking for work, or what I should be doing in those times. That's, or when I want to create something of my own, like these projects I'm talking about. That's when I'm finding that the discipline is the hardest. If we're accountable to somebody else, discipline's easy, right? It's like, you know, you get that panic monster on your back. It's like, Jesus, I can't screw this up. But when you're just accountable to yourself, where's that monkey? You know, it's like, so this is what I'm working on right now, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, is like really get that proactive, creative discipline going, where, you know, I wake up in the morning and I write for a few hours, then I go and do some exercise, because I need to, you know, keep the body in shape too. So, you know, this is my day. I get my kid up, we get the lunch, get everything ready. Sometimes if I'm really good, I'll wake up really early, and then I'll do a little bit of work, and I'll wake up around 7 to 8, get him going, get him to school. I come home, do a few hours, a couple hours of work on the computer or writing. Then I go do some exercise, then I eat some lunch, and then the afternoon is kind of whatever needs to be done, which is a lot of stuff. You know, anyone here who, we know life just takes over. Right? It's like,
gets in the way.
It's, oh, gotta mow the lawn, oh, gotta do this, oh, that's leaking, oh, this or that. Or it's just stuff.
The joys of owning a house.
It drives me nuts. Sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna sell everything. I'm gonna live in a 1-bedroom rental, basement apartment. Yeah. But you know, it's balancing the sort of joyfulness in that, and that's part of the struggle. So it's a work in progress, and I am definitely still struggling.
If you figure it out, will you tell us?
I'll write a book.
Write a book.
When you find the time.
When you get the discipline.
Yeah. It'll come out about probably the same time as the theater production.
That's right.
Or Casey's video.
Yes, Casey's video.
No, that better come out a lot sooner.
Well, no, it's not his fault.
I didn't
He
say it
says
was.
it's not his
I'm
fault.
just saying it's delayed.
Yes.
Do you still write?
Only occasionally, and mostly for when I'm hired professionally to do it. I rode so much as a kid that one, it's like riding a bike. My body just knows how to do it. And if I ever do need to ride professionally, I just go and take a few lessons. It's all just about getting the muscles woken up again. I am starting to miss it a bit, where those rides through the woods, where, I mean, you know, you all know how it is when you're going on a long drive, right? Your mind starts to drift, and you can you get those, that's when your imagination kicks over, and you can come across some beautiful sort of revelations in that time. The nice thing about a horse is horses won't crash into stuff.
Yeah.
So you can really kind of drift. You can even look behind you, you can even close your eyes. You can even kind of doze off. And unless there's a low-hanging branch.
Or they set to stop suddenly because they found water or something.
Yeah, well, even that, you know, once you're really in tune with your horse, unless they freak out, like a wolf jumps out of the wood or something like that, you're pretty much okay. So yeah, I miss that kind of like, just the wobble, the plod.
It's
You know,
familiar.
the warmth. Also,
Yeah.
I remember like I used to, fall and winter, I would be riding that same like 4 miles, and like we're going through snow, and like just the warmth. Sometimes I would just hug my horse just to stay warm. You know, you put your hands underneath the saddle and the shoulders, and like it was just a really nice symbiotic sort of thing that you create with this animal, and I do miss that a bit.
Your family still have a farm?
Yes, but over the years, as everything, you know, turned into a geriatric ward for the horses, and then slowly but surely every horse died, and at that point it was, you know, my father's 84 now, and, you know, has had a few strokes, so it's like, there's just there's no time or place for large animals out there. And what was shocking was how quickly the farm changed after it didn't have these animals on it to eat back the grass and take care of. You know? It turned into a jungle in one summer. It was nuts. Like, it was a beautiful pastoral sort of farm. You know, you could walk any day of the summer. The grass was eaten nice and short. The next summer, it was like literally you'd need a weed whacker to go in the backyard.
Get some goats.
Or goats.
Or
They'll take care of it.
Goats, they'll take care of it.
Get some
But they'll
goats.
take care of everything. It's
Just, yeah, but I said, they cannot distinguish between flowers
No.
and
Yeah.
weeds.
What do you miss more, horses or dogs? 'Cause I think you had a black lab at some
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I'm actually, my lab's still alive, she's at the farm. She's just quite old now, and it just got to the point where I didn't want to, when I was working on law school and I was living in a condo, it made sense for her to be out there. And after 7 years or 6 years of her being out there, and now she's quite old, it's like I don't want to disturb her patterns and bring her back to the city. And she's now a farm dog. But yeah, I am definitely missing dogs, and I'm thinking about getting a new one soon. But out of sort of honoring her, I'll wait. Yeah.
You don't take your son riding?
Not yet. We don't have horses, so, and I started when I was about 8 years old. He's 8 now, and so it's about time. I was thinking maybe this summer, some pony clubs. When you're 8, you start on ponies because you can't actually wrap your legs around a horse to get any sort of pressure. So, yeah, it's time. And I would like for him to have that relationship with animals.
And less rules than Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Should I just? What do I do now? Do I ask myself questions? Do you have any questions, Jeff?
Well, I have a question.
Question over here.
Guys,
Sure.
one over here.
You and I start talking
Wait,
about
Lost Girl ended because we didn't particularly care for the last season.
Oh yeah. I don't think anybody did.
Awesome. But then once they introduced the whole 80s aspect, it's like, oh, this is going to be cool. And
It was very poorly handled.
Oh, God, it was awful.
I'm glad something was us.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it from many people who have watched the show, and unfortunately, it's one of these weird situations where a show. One of the problems with Lost Girl is that every season we had a different creative writer, a different creative head, except for Emily Andres, who did season 2 and 3. And when an idea gets fragmented like that, and so many different people come in and are at the helm of it, and are reacting to different influences and different pushes and pulls, and then trying to make their own statement of it, a show really gets diluted from what its original idea was. And yeah, I mean, the last season of Lost Girl,
It was downhill from season 3 on.
yeah, it's a tough one, We all were really excited in the beginning of season 1. Michelle Libretta, we had a great thought. We realized we were invested in the concept of the show.
It was a great show.
And then, different powers that be wanted, for mostly just commercial ideas, whether they wanted a more of a Buffy sort of archetypical sort of show, because Buffy is one of the top 3 highest grossing shows of all time because of its sellability internationally. And, of course, producers, they want to make money. So this was sort of the mandate of how the show got pushed. And then I don't know how all of that Greek gods debacle came around. Like, it's one thing to bring the Greek gods in. Sure, that would be cool. But don't make them adolescent idiots. That you can't. Like, and I kept having this argument with the writers. It's like, if you don't respect the antagonists, you can't respect the protagonist who defeats them. Because like, if you're facing a bunch of dimwits, like they were written like idiots.
Amen.
No. And so it's like this was the whole thing. It's like, oh great, so you've made all those guys idiots, and now because we can't beat them, we are by
Total idiots.
even bigger idiots. Well done, writers.
there was already a show on Sci-Fi that's about juvenile gods anyway. There's like 3 of them. So
I know. No, and it was just,
They should have,
tone.
they should have tried to fulfill the promise of the first season.
Yes.
Yes, they should have,
Yes.
but I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of pushes and pulls when you're on
Coulda,
these
shoulda, woulda.
shows, right? And it's not just the writer's fault. You know, the writers are trying to facilitate, whether it's network, whether it's executive producer. Everyone has, you know, different. You know, there's lots of cooks in the kitchen on these shows, which is why when you have shows like Tudors or Vikings, you know, Michael Hurst, it's a singular vision. He's written pretty much all those episodes. And you know, that's why these shows have a great continuity of style and story and character. And for me, I really believe in that method. I mean, even Game of Thrones, yes, it's different writers, but they're all writing off of George R.R. Martin,
Right,
sort of.
continuity,
Yeah,
you need
exactly.
continuity, there was never continuity.
No, there wasn't. And this is the thing, every time we had a new season with a new writer coming in, you know, Lost Girl had a strange sort of style to it. And it was a tricky style. Some people's strengths were more in the comedic, some were in the more serious. And
But they
and
did,
the show got kind of lost.
they didn't
Yeah,
even, they didn't even
very lost.
try.
Yeah.
They didn't even try. There had to be no show Bible.
They
I mean, they
tried.
should have made somebody look at the first season before they tried to write for the second season.
Oh, they all, trust me, they're not that incompetent. They all watched, and they'd seen every single episode, I'm sure. If they didn't, they should have all been fired. But I'm pretty sure they
Yeah,
did.
I go with what you just said.
I do have to say though, when you Carol Mackenzie, that was hilarious.
Oh, God,
great.
yes, original
That
skills.
was
You have it now.
that was some of the most fun that I've had on that show. Yeah. She has a great character, so it was. I kind of pitied her having to channel me.
Yes, because that's when you were playing that dour.
Dour, I lost my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say about Lost Girl. It got lost. Lost
Amen.
got even more lost.
You know,
But the one thing that always remained the same was the connection between all of you guys. I mean,
Yeah, the
it was
cast.
so
Yeah,
clear
the
that you
cast.
were
Yeah, the
friends
cast.
offset.
the way the
Yeah,
cast-
that was, you know,
And that
I've heard
stayed.
that from a lot of people, that that was the sort of the strength of the show. And yeah, we were very fortunate, you know, to have a group that really gelled so well and respected and enjoyed working with each other and creating, you know, and trying to create this world.
Are you guys able to keep together at least a little bit?
Oh yeah, God, we see each other a lot.
Good.
I mean, I don't see Anna much because she lives in LA and she's busy being a mom. But yeah, Toronto, I mean, Paul, who played Bex, we see each other a lot. We're sort of our co-parenting support system. Rachel has been shooting a lot in Toronto, so I see her a lot. We also do conventions. Rick, I see fairly often. KC, obviously. Yeah.
Are they doing rain in Toronto?
Yes, exactly.
Have you worked with any of them before Lost Girl?
Zoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoe.
So,
Zoe and I did Paul Shepard together.
Oh,
Love that movie.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Yeah,
We
really
actually,
should have.
we met on that, and then we were pleasantly surprised to find each other on season 1 of Lost Girl. She actually wasn't in the pilot of Lost Girl. There was another woman who had been cast as Lauren Lewis, who then, after we went to camera for the full season, she was replaced for whatever reasons it was. So Zoe had to go back and reshoot all that footage. And so when we shot Paul Shepard, I think I shot the pilot of Lost Girl with that other actress, and I'm sure I told her about it. And then, go figure, 6 months later, we start shooting episode 1, and Zoe was there. It was great. Zoe's fantastic. Yeah. She's doing a killer job as the android on Dark Matter.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
really hard for me to wrap my head around
Yeah.
her because there's like no personality in the first couple episodes of Dark Matter. She's just, and you're like,
Yeah, it's not
like,
Zoe.
did they go with the totally non-responsive android character again? Like, you know, and then she's evolved since then. But it was like, I was like,
Yeah.
that's really a waste to use a good actress
Yeah.
to have just, I'm just a computer with no emotion.
Yeah, and she's doing an interesting speech mannerisms as well. But no, apparently there was an episode where her character had like what kind of oh, it was like, what sort of dialect would you like? You know, she had different programs.
Right.
So
Right,
she went through a
right,
bunch of
right.
different
Yes.
accents.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I hear it's awesome.
Yes, it's funny.
So yeah, anybody else? Oh, let's see. No, I don't think I mean, other actors who'd come on for guest spots I'd worked with in the past. But, no one on the main cast, no, besides Zoe.
You know why they decided to kill Hale? Because that sucks.
Out
You know
loud.
what? I don't really.
Yeah.
I do not know. There's sometimes they just need to kill. They're like, we got to keep the story. We got to, keep it fresh. You got to
And if you
kill
knew, you couldn't
someone.
tell you anyway.
This is what I heard a lot of. You got to kill someone sometimes. You got to keep the threat of like, keep it,
Keeping it
danger.
real.
Keep the feeling of danger.
Please.
It's a True Blood, Game of Thrones kind of model. You got to kill off at least one person.
Oh, well, Game of Thrones, like, you got to kill at least one
Everybody.
in an episode.
Yeah.
True Blood was gonna kill
And
him
then,
anyway.
and then at the end, kill off the whole cast.
Right,
Start all over
Start all
again.
over again.
There's an explosion, and this one person who you've never met before is still alive.
There was a lot of people who died in this last episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler.
Yes.
Oh, did you guys not see it?
Well, some people
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, don't talk about it.
I'm looking forward
Did you
to it
read?
tomorrow.
Have you read the books?
I have, yeah.
Did you have a problem like trying to get through book 4?
I couldn't get through book 4.
Feast
of Crows?
Yeah.
The red one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like slog. Like
I
that
couldn't
was,
do it. It was all Lannister, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you haven't read the book, they introduce you to a whole bunch of these characters that
Yeah.
you've never met before, and by the end of the book, you realize none of them are important at all to the rest of the main
Right.
story. You're like,
I couldn't.
Why didn't I just read this?
there's 2 revelations in the whole book, I think.
I didn't get, honestly, you know,
You missed the revelation towards the end. That's
I
the
did.
best.
I did.
I'm sure.
I was actually reading that book while I was filming The Tudors. So that was 7 years ago, or 8 years ago now. So I remember I was on set in Ireland, and I was carrying, and I had the hardcover, carrying this big fucking red book. They're like, what are you reading? That looks so impressive. And it's like, well, it's just fantasy, yada yada. But here I am in this magical land, riding horses. I'm like, I'm in like perfect fodder for this sort of imagination, and I couldn't get through it.
No, the 4 was.
Yeah.
It took everything I had.
And I never finished it.
There's a revelation at 4 that isn't in the series, but the Prince of Dorne was supposed to be betrothed to Daenerys.
I can barely see.
Oh, really?
And it's got like a blurb this long in the book. They
That's
don't even
it.
talk about it in the series.
Well, and that's why I didn't know Oberon was going to have his head smashed in. So when that actually happened, I was like, oh, for the first time, like I watch it with friends, right? And I'm always the guy that, yeah, if you need a little insight, I'll tell you, because that person's with that person, yada, yada, yada. And this was actually the first time that I was surprised on the show.
That's what I tell her. Like, there's all the backstory they leave about with Tyrion and his machinations while he's in the
Yeah.
city, and yeah,
I loved the first 3 books were great.
5 wasn't bad.
Yeah, and then I like Dance with Dragons was great again. And now we're in uncharted territory.
Yeah. 6 Marcon. He's actually tired of writing the series. He's been working on other stuff. It's like I have an obligation to finish this series, so I'm gonna work on it when I can.
So the show
The
is
pizzas
basically
are coming, 3 big pizzas. Nobody watches South Park?
no.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I love that show.
Right.
3-parter with George R. R. Martin, because the boys just love Game of Thrones. And it's almost creepy, like he's like wants to be with the boys, and because he's trying to keep them there. He's like, but I swear the pizzas are coming. 3 big pizzas are coming.
Wiener, wiener.
I'll have to check that one
The
out.
show is cool. All I see is things hanging out.
Read that
Who do you
document.
want to win the
I can tell
Yeah, all the
you.
Game of Thrones fans, go back and watch it, even if you hate that show, 'cause it's funny. I hate that show, and it's funny.
All right, I'll check Game of Thrones episode. I wonder what probably Daenerys. Yeah. Of course.
Dragons.
I've never watched the Tudors, but do you like period pieces or modern?
Modern or like sci-fi, what?
No, like Tudors is a period piece. So do you prefer doing a period piece, or do you prefer working like
I do prefer.
modern / fantasy?
I prefer either period or fantasy or sci-fi. Contemporary pieces. I don't know, there's something about the contemporary piece, unless the character is really dynamic, I don't find them as interesting or as fun. You know, like I'm not interested in being on a procedural cop drama or a lawyer drama, or, you know, just being a regular us, just
Got it.
fast chatting about something to make it cool and swanky, and like, you know, having a gun, like being kind of cool and like, I don't know, I don't like that kind of TV. I don't watch it often. So, and I think my strengths are much more in character, you know, interesting characters. Like I can really sell that I'm like summoning a fireball and it's, you know, shooting it down the hallway, or riding a dragon or a horse, or, you know, being a war, you know, in a war or something, like, you know, like these are the things, the stories that I can dig more into. I mean, if I was to do contemporary stuff, I would like it to be politically charged, because that for me is the most interesting and poignant sort of thing to discuss right now and with my medium.
Have you watched House of Cards?
Of course, yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, even like going something, you know, tapping into more of the environmental sort of issues that we're facing, you know, then I could get invested in something like that. But just playing like, you know, the cop who drives the fast car, who's got a dark and sordid background, takes it out by being a bad relationship, going through bad relationships with hot chicks.
You're gonna talk yourself into that one.
It's not my gig.
Well, come on.
And yet you're working.
I'm not cool enough for that show.
So you're not going to work for CBS then?
I'll tell the remake that.
I would work for CBS.
Oh, I didn't watch the remake.
Is there a show on now that you wish you were on? Maybe Game of
Definitely Game of Thrones.
Good
Yeah.
Well,
question,
besides
yeah.
Game of Thrones.
How quickly do you think you'd be killed off in Game of Thrones?
Pretty quick.
Unfortunately, I
I
can't
would
even.
love it if
There's
we
no
were
book for
fire
me to
like
grab a
that.
character off of. It's like, well, I don't even know what characters are coming up right now.
Well, they're making stuff up on the series, so
I
you're
was
gonna
gonna
get
say,
ready.
yeah.
I would
you
have
fit
liked
right
to have
in.
done the Vikings. I don't know if they're coming back or not. Michael Hurst, the writer, he actually did write me a character to come on, but typical, they didn't tell me. And so I booked a film at the same time, and then they were like, well, Michael's written this character for you. Because we'd kind of gone back and forth. I'd love to do the show. Oh, yeah, Michael would love to have you on the show. And then I didn't hear. And then I said, oh, by the way, I'm booking this film. Don't know if you guys are still. And I remember I was like, still, if you're ringing the bell, and it's like, it's way beyond that. We've got a character for you. He's written it. So I had to drop out. Yeah, like, what else would be a good show that I'd like to be on? I like not The Last Kingdom, the one that Netflix has done about the Norse, who are the Norse Saxon time. I think it's called The Kingdom. Maybe it's just The Kingdom.
Might be the Kingdom. I don't know.
It's quite a good show. Again, period. Yeah, I tend to be drawn towards sort of period stuff these days. Or, you know, some like, Star Trek, for instance. There's a new
Yeah.
Star Trek show coming.
Hello.
And I'd love to get on that as
Sure.
perhaps a
Huh.
who knows.
No, Skype.
Huh?
You got the right hand now. One works better than the other. There you
no,
go.
Yeah.
Left is
Yeah,
getting
you.
there. Now here's the thing: is it thumb out or thumb in?
Thumb
Thumb
out.
out.
Thumb out.
Thumb out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
And the question is, if you put thumb in, do you offend any Vulcans? Is it one of those like hand things where if you do it the
Yeah.
wrong way, you've
Yeah.
offended half a planet?
Maybe the Romulan
There could be a
also.
new thread to it.
Romulan, they're like.
Yeah.
Can't do it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I grew up reading fantasy and sci-fi, so that's where my heart lies. That's where my imagination is sort of lends strongest to. I think that I can, just from all those days of running through the woods with my dog and my bow, hunting goblins or.
What about comedy? Would you ever think of like comedy?
Yeah, but it's my comedy is more, I don't know, it's like goofball based.
You've been hanging around Paul too long.
Paul's got that dry, like
He
he's got the
does
dry
have, yeah.
comedy. Like Zoe has that dry sort of comedy. Mine's more like, I'm like a Jim Carrey, like kind of goofy and like all body and physical comedy. And that's a weird one to like, one, have faith that you don't look like a total idiot. If you've never done it professionally, just go, you know what? I'm gonna be a comedian. But yeah, you know what? If a part came up and it felt natural, yeah, for sure. It'd be nice to laugh for a change as opposed to always having to be serious.
Be nice not to have you killed off at the end.
Hey, like I said, he's the first media guest